In this video, you'll learn how inventory adjustments are recorded under the periodic inventory system. The goal is to help you understand not just the mechanics of the journal entries, but why these adjustments are necessary and how they affect financial statements. Keep in mind that inventory is often one of the largest assets on the balance sheet, so getting this right is important. Under the periodic inventory system, companies do not continuously update the merchandise inventory account. Instead, all inventory purchases are recorded in the income statement account purchases. The merchandise inventory account remains unchanged during the period and continues to reflect beginning inventory until the end of the accounting cycle. You can probably already tell that the periodic inventory system can be challenging when you have a lot of inventory because you never know what you have in stock unless you physically count the inventory. Now, larger businesses often prefer to use the perpetual method of inventory, which perpetually and constantly tracks your inventory. It's expensive, though, to use the perpetual inventory method because you need all kinds of systems in place to track your purchases and your sales. That's why most small companies use the periodic inventory system, meaning you record all purchases to the purchases account and periodically count your inventory. Once the inventory is counted, accountants update the ending balance in merchandise inventory. This adjustment is essential because the ending inventory directly affects cost of goods sold and ultimately net income. So let's talk about counting inventory. The first decision is how frequently you'll count your inventory. Most companies count once a year. Plus, you need a strategy. When will you be counting inventory? For instance, at night or the weekend? Keep in mind that you can't count while you're still open for business. Otherwise, it will get confusing really quickly. Will you hire people to help with the inventory count? If you're using outside contractors, you'll have to consider that there aren't that many companies that do inventory counts, so that you may have to plan in advance to ensure you have the right staffing. Is the warehouse organized in a way that all inventory can be located easily? In short, you need a plan for the inventory count and make sure that everyone is on the same page. And on the day of the inventory count, the job is to count every single item. Each unit is then multiplied by the unit cost, which depends on the inventory valuation method used, such as FIFO or LIFO. Some businesses use barcode scanners to help with the count. But even with technology, it's still up to you to ensure everything adds up, because one tiny miscount could lead to a big surprise at the end of the period. And that's why many companies team up 2 people for every inventory count to ensure that the count is right. One thing that's likely going to happen during an inventory count is a variance. For instance, you counted all your inventory, but something's off. Maybe you expected 51 shirts from the brand XYZ, but the count says 48, a difference of 3 shirts. And you know that you received a shipment of 70 XYZ shirts just a week ago, and you only sold 19. So there should still be 51. What now? A few things could have happened. First, did you really receive a shipment of 70 shirts, or was it really 67? Then, did you track all the sales correctly, and was the inventory count correct? You'd want to check your documents and probably want to do a recount just to be sure. Keep in mind that someone might have moved some of the shirts to a different location. Rather than in the warehouse, they're displayed in the store. But let's say that you really received 70. Your sales tracking is accurate and the inventory count is accurate. That means that you have a real variance of 3 shirts. And a discrepancy between expected and actual inventory is not unusual, but it's important to figure out why. In a retail store, there is a certain level of theft, or you could potentially also have damaged goods. One tool accountants use to investigate variances is the inventory roll forward method. It's kind of like retracing your steps. You start from the last count, add any new purchases, and subtract the sales. This helps us see where things might have gone astray. But don't panic. Variance is an opportunity to learn. Was there an error in recording? Did an item get misplaced? Tracking down these inconsistencies is a detective mission, and as accountants, we are pretty good at solving mysteries. Now comes the fun part, adjusting the books to reflect the new inventory balance, and we do that in 2 steps. The first step is to remove the old inventory balance that's been on the books since the last inventory count. Think of it like clearing off the table before you start a new project. So we debit the income summary account and credit the merchandise inventory. After recording this entry, our merchandise inventory account should be 0. As part of step 2, we bring in the ending inventory to update the account with what you actually have. We debit merchandise inventory and credit income summary. It's like hitting refresh to make sure your records are current and accurate. In the end, these adjustments ensure that your books match the real world. So let's look at 2 examples. In the first example, the beginning inventory is $125,000 and the ending inventory is $106,119. To record this entry, we first remove the beginning inventory to income summary by debiting income summary for $125,000 and crediting merchandising inventory for $125,000. Then we debit merchandise inventory and credit income summary for $106,119. That means that the merchandise inventory account now shows an amount of $106,119, which is the accurate ending inventory. What about the income summary account? It shows an amount of $18,881, which represents the inventory adjustment to reduce our merchandise inventory of $125,000 at the beginning of the year to $106,119 at the end of the year. The second example is nearly identical except for the amounts. In this case, the beginning inventory was $198,327 and the ending inventory is $152,159. The first step is to remove the beginning inventory to income summary by debiting income summary and crediting merchandise inventory for $198,327. Then we debit merchandise inventory and credit income summary for $152,159. Our merchandise inventory account now reflects the ending inventory of $152,159, and the income summary shows us the inventory adjustment of $45,168, the difference between beginning and ending inventory. The key takeaways from this video are that under the periodic inventory system, inventory counts happen only at the end of the period. The physical count is the basis for these adjustments, and the resulting entries directly impact the income statement and the balance sheet. Getting inventory right is important for reliable financial reporting.